My name is Jennifer Gray, and the purpose of this PowerPoint is to present my information for my IL 711 Professional Standards for Instructional Leadership Data-Driven Improvement Project. For this particular project, I did choose to discuss college and career readiness and to focus on that for my particular project. As many of you may know, college and career readiness standards were adopted by the state of Alabama in 2010, and last year the state of Alabama released its first new report card, and college and career readiness was one of the groups on the report card. So I felt like it was very important for my school, based off our data for the past 2 years for this particular area, to focus on college and career readiness. And you'll see why as I go through this particular PowerPoint. Before I get to my objectives for my data-driven project, let me first start off by giving you a little bit of information about the new Alabama State Report Card. First of all, how did it come about? In 2012, the Alabama legislature secured and created the Legislative School Performance Recognition Program Act. And as part of this act, it did require that a letter grade be assigned to most Alabama public schools. In order for schools and the state to comply with this new law, the Alabama's Every Student Succeeds Act developed the Alabama State Report Card. And what this meant was that every school would be assigned a single letter grade. The letter grade was based off multiple indicators. These indicators included academic achievement, academic growth, absenteeism, graduation rate, as well as college and career readiness, and that was for your high schools only. Now then, what was the purpose of the report card? This was designed to help parents, along with other stakeholders, to be able to understand what was going on in their schools and how effective the schools were. Just like a child's report card communicates with parents how successful their child is being in a class, the state report card does the same thing for those parents and stakeholders, lets them know what's going on in their schools and just how successful those schools are. A few weeks ago, schools were notified of their scores for this year's state report card, for the 2019 state report card. My school actually was notified that we would have the grade of an 81, which is the equivalent of a B for our report card. This was 1 percentile, I think, more than what we had scored last year. Last year was the first time that schools were scored using the new report card. And many schools, matter of fact, all the schools did not know how the indicators were going to be broken down. And we learned last year that it was broken down in the following manner. For this state report card, 30% was based on graduation rate, 25% was based on academic growth. What is academic growth? It's how much do students grow from, say, taking the pre-ACT in their 10th grade year to taking the ACT in their 11th grade year. 20% is based on academic performance. In other words, how well do they do on the math and the reading on ACT as 11th graders. 10% is based on absenteeism, and specifically chronic absenteeism. And those are students who miss 18 or more days per year. College and career readiness accounts for 10% of the overall grade of your graduates. And 5% is based on progress for your EL proficiency population. Now, my particular school does not have the size for an EL proficiency, so that 5% actually goes back to our academic growth for my school. But if you look at all of these, I sat down and I got to talking to my department heads. Out of all of this, which one can we focus on that, although may have a small percentile as far as the overall score, could help us have a greater impact report card wide? And my department heads determined, after looking at many data points, that that was definitely going to be in the area of college and career readiness. And let's look at why. Now then, as far as the overall score, it only counts 10%. But if you look at what makes up that 10%, students who have benchmarked on any ACT subtest will earn college and career readiness status. Qualifying score on AP exams. My school does not have IB exams, but we do have AP. Military enlistment can count toward college and career readiness status. If they do dual enrollment where they have earned a college credit while they're in high school can count. Silver level or higher on the ACT work keys. If you don't know, students do take ACT work keys their 12th grade year, so that is the final thing that they have the opportunity to become become college and career readiness. And finally, approved industry credentials. In other words, if they pass, say, the Safe Serve test and become credentialed in that, then they would qualify for college and career readiness status. I mentioned something about the data just a few minutes ago. So I went back and I pulled this information from my teachers. We pulled 2017 and 2018. If you'll notice the pink column that says overall CCR percentile, in 2017 we had 79.94 for all of our school. In 2018 we had 79.93. As you can see, not a whole lot of change. If you compare the numbers all the way across, there's definitely some areas that we could work on. So, let's look at the objectives that my department heads and I, after looking at that data along with some other pieces of evidence, that we decided on the following objectives. The first objective focused on one of our subgroups, our African American population. We felt like, after looking at the data, that we could increase the percentage of African Americans meeting benchmark on the Math ACT from 8% to 15%. Second objective was to increase all students meeting pre-ACT English benchmarks from 65 to 70%. And my final objective focused on work keys, because as I just mentioned, this is the final test that seniors can take before they graduate to earn college and career status. And this particular objective focused on seniors earning a silver certificate or higher on that particular test, and do it at 75% of the senior population. That first objective, increasing percent of African Americans meeting benchmark on Math ACT from 8 to 15%. Some of the things that we felt were critical as far as initiatives go: staff development. In other words, developing workshops for them so that they can develop common assessments and be able to use that as an additional data point for them to look at as far as improvement goes. Focused math instruction. My departments already have professional learning communities that they meet with, so we felt like this would be a good starting point, a good discussion topic for them when they meet in those PLCs and discuss effective practices. And finally, implementation of learning supports and interventions, giving those students who are struggling a way to improve, provide some interventions for them. So some activities that we felt were important: ACT practices daily and weekly in their math courses, and also to work together in some other areas such as science. Common assessments and using those common assessments in those PLC data meetings. Analysis of math pre-ACT data from last year, looking at this 11th grade. Another activity, targeted instruction for subgroups, basically using small group instruction and work with those groups who are at a deficit there. And our final activity is working with students in what we refer to as academic opportunity period. This is a time that we offer each day for students to meet with their teachers who may be either struggling or who need to make up work. So this would be a way for students who might be needing some additional intervention in math to be able to meet with their math teachers and hopefully improve. The second objective, as I mentioned, focuses on increasing all students meeting pre-ACT English benchmarks from 65% to 70%. My particular school, we are grades 10 through 12, so we felt one starting point here was to offer vertical teaming professional development where they actually, the English teachers in 10 through 12 go and meet with the teachers in our 9th grade school. Our 9th grade school is referred to S9. And during these meetings, take the time to look at pre-ACT data and participate in various training opportunities for both. As far as activities, as I just mentioned, collaboration with those 9th grade English teachers, also attending workshops that focus on formative assessments so that they can develop some common assessments so that they have additional data to use in order to prepare them for those pre-ACT tests and ACT. And the final activity for this particular objective would be to analyze previous ACT scores and those standards. The final objective focused on the ACT work keys. Here, increasing percentage of seniors earning the silver certificate or higher on ACT work keys to 75%. As I mentioned, this is the final opportunity for students who have not met college and career readiness standards for them to be able to earn that status. So this objective would focus on work key skills and using assessment data to help them. As far as activities go, these students who have not scored silver or better could utilize some small group instructions with teachers who have been identified to help with this particular group. And finally, work keys, the state does allow you to retest students through an online test. So taking advantage of that so that we can assist as many students as possible in being able to reach that final goal there before they graduate. This concludes my presentation, and utilizing college and career information to assist our students in doing better. I hope you enjoyed it, and please let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.